What is going on, everybody? It has been a hell of a week for development on my end, which is nice compared to the last couple of weeks because I got COVID 2 weeks ago and then I was kind of like mentally, spiritually recovering from COVID the week after that. But we are back at it and we've banged out a ton of code this week. It doesn't look like it in terms of the features that we're going to be talking about and going over, but Dev Cheat Sheets is well on its way to becoming the next big bajillionaire social media personal knowledge management startup. So we're looking at the horribly designed landing page and we're about to jump into some even worse design work over here on the dashboard. If you don't know me, you don't know my channel, I do all of my design work last and I do all of the basically front end, back end kind of integration stuff first. So that's why everything looks ugly at first and then it looks slightly less ugly later. So let's head on over to the dashboard and we can see a couple of changes. All of them look very badly. Right now, the snippet is for some reason squished. I don't really know why it's doing that. Didn't do that on the last screen that I used it for. But this is the big update. We now have link input. So now I can title things. Let's head on over to twitter.com/valhalladev. That's me. You can't view any of my tweets because I'm not logged in on incognito mode, but you would be able to. So let's just go ahead and use the best person to follow on Twitter. And our link /Valhalla dev. And currently the tags don't do that much, but we can still do Twitter. Let's do Valhalla dev. Let's just do @Valhalla dev. Maybe that'll be useful someday. And let's just do test since this is testing. Go ahead and submit that. You get, I believe, no actual output when it successfully submits, but if we go over here to our database, which is hopefully not showing anything important, it is not. We refresh this, reconnect, and we have the best person to follow on Twitter. We have a dynamically created ID here. We have the link itself, and we have our tags. So obviously that does not look like much, and let me explain why. So if we go over here to the code itself and we go to our link API, let's see, should be right here. Yep, that's where we're actually creating it. You'll notice a lot of blanked out code here. My attempt here was to archive every link that goes into Dev Cheat Sheets because one of my least favorite things in the entire world is finding a really good resource that for some reason dies. So the link changes, somebody deletes it, or the structure of the page itself changes. That sucks because now you have like your favorite blog post that explains everything that you need in the entire world, or you've got like a really good meme that you want to share with somebody and now all of a sudden it's gone and there's no finding it. So Dev Cheat Sheets was supposed to solve that problem by automatically backing up all of these URLs. But for some reason, archive.org, which runs the Wayback Machine where you actually like save all of this stuff, their API is not very well documented or not documented at all, and I could not figure it out. I took like an entire week trying to figure this out because it was kind of like an important near and dear kind of feature to my heart. I really wanted it to work really bad, but for some reason just decided not to. So it is what it is. That was just kind of like a time sink that I had to deal with this week. But we do have that working. We also have, this is kind of more on the boring end. If we go over to the page, we now have an onboarding process. Basically what this allows you to do is you can sign up with OAuth. So right now I just have Google working, but eventually we're going to have like Discord and I believe GitHub is what I have planned. So all of those are working currently, or all of those can work, but what I want you to be able to do is be required to sign up with a username as well. But the username can't be created during the like process of you signing up via like Google or GitHub or whatever. So I had to create its own like kind of onboarding process where right now all it's doing is asking you for a username, but eventually it's going to ask you for more stuff, just stuff later on down the line. So I think that's important, to make sure that everybody has their username created before they can actually go and do things. Otherwise, it just completely shatters the data model, which is what I ran into for quite a while. You don't want to display people's emails next to all of their posts because that's a nightmare. You never want to do that. You want them to have some kind of other identifier that they can use, which, is username. imagine if on Twitter, every tweet that you made or every discussion you got into, you're just giving everybody your email. That would make email even less usable. So a couple of things to talk about in terms of future development here. So one of the things that you'll notice, if you go over to the actual prod page, so that is dev.cheatsheets.io. If you go over here, you'll notice that there's not really much on this page. There are, a couple of very vague details, and obviously you have the ability to sign up for the waitlist. I want all of y'all to do that. That's important. I noticed in my analytics that some people were finding this link down here and going to the blog. You'll notice that this is all just boilerplate shit. Like, it's not actually anything that I wrote. It has nothing to do with Dev Cheat Sheets itself. There's just like one blog post that is about Supabase. That's because I used ShipFast and forgot to get rid of the blog post. Even up until this day, I forgot to get rid of the blog post. So there's currently nothing here. What I'm planning on doing is using Feather, which I believe is feather.so right there. So if you go to feather.so, it is basically a blog platform that's built on top of Notion. So you use Notion as like the content management system, and it's really well optimized for SEO, which is obviously very important for people who are garbage at marketing and just want that to work for them. SEO is super important there. I'm very lazy with my marketing, so that's obviously going to be very valuable. So I'm going to be attaching Feather over the next week or so to the actual prod site and starting to write some blogs, probably kind of wrap-ups of what I've been doing on the dev side, and just kind of some rants and thoughts and things like that on dev communities as a whole, because I have a lot of thoughts and feelings there. Since we are on the subject of marketing, so currently it's actually picking up me on my dev instance, which it should not be doing. But you can also see a couple of other things that I have kind of tested out. I can also show you, if we go over to localhost 3000, go to the dashboard, and I'm going to go ahead and grab this link right here, this ID right here. Eventually the IDs are going to be shortened. They're already shortened in snippets, but they're not shortened on links quite yet. But if we go over here, I think it should be /link/that. Hopefully this will work in prod. The best person to follow on Twitter. So currently just displays the title itself, but if we go to the snippets, it looks a little bit better. We can actually display an entire snippet. So let's grab a random snippet. This is one of the ones that's been shortened. Oop. So we can pop on over to /snippet/that. And once it loads, we get the full snippet. Now, obviously, this is ugly as sin, and there's going to be a lot of things that need to go into actually fixing this. But as you can see, it displays my username instead of the email, which would be, again, bad. It displays your title up here and the actual code snippet itself. Now, this isn't particularly interesting. You've got the tags down here. None of this is clickable. None of this is changeable. None of this is interesting. That's going to be next week's chore. Next week, we're going to be working on the personal knowledge management side. And this is the part that I'm the most excited about, frankly, because this is the part where things actually get interesting, where things actually get useful. I want the ability to click on different libraries and different functions and be able to pivot across different snippets that share the same or similar code bases, that share the same libraries. So think if you're looking into the request library, and you've got this library that you're trying to read into in Rust called the request library, spelled REQWEST, and you've got a code snippet that shows how to send a very simple GET request. Now that's easy, but you want to look up how to send a POST request with structured data in it. So how would you figure that out? Now you might Google it, you might find some interesting answers, you might ChatGPT it, it will give you wrong answers. But instead, you can click on that library. That's the goal, is to be able to click on that library within your own code base, and then it is going to take you to a different page where other people have also written using that library. Maybe some of them have written library functions that use POST in it with that structured data that you're looking for. So that's the ultimate goal, and that's what we're going to start working on next week. That is about it for the first devlog in a while. I've been pretty consistent with putting up the actual newsletters. So if you're interested in getting those every Friday at 9 a.m., I'm recording this currently on Thursday, so there will be another one coming out in a couple of hours. So if you're interested in getting those every week, you can head over to devcheatsheets.io and sign up for the waitlist. That's about it. Take it easy. Peace.